Hello friends, I hope you all are safe with your parents at home in this critical situation. And in previous lectures we have studied about the formats as well as the some explanation about the letters. And sorry for the inconvenience caused yesterday, that why because I and my channel was uh, affected by a particular virus. That's why I was unable to upload my lecture in yesterday. But now today we are going to the study the commercial correspondence, means the CC parts, chapter number 1, that is of the meaning of communication and its method. See friends, you are well aware about the word communication, as well as you have learned so many times this word in earlier standards. That means what is the communication, how it can be conducted, and what are the barriers and what are the advantages of the communication. But now we are studying in this chapter some extent level of the communication word, and how it is work, and what is the process about it, and what is the other types of communications are available through which we can communicate with each other parties, and how it should work is mentioned in this chapter. So first of all, we are going to start the introduction of the first chapter, meaning of communication and its methods. First line, interaction with others or communication is not only an activity concisely undertaken, but also a basic need for a living being, every living being. See friend, here is the most important line for this chapter is that if anyone who are living in this entire world, they have to compulsorily communicate or interact with each other for their particular exchange of ideas as well as their requirement. So without any interaction you cannot communicate with each other, and nobody is able to do without any interaction. In order to express one's feelings and exchange of ideas, it becomes the imperative to come into and remain in contact with others. See, in order to express one's idea, if you want to express your ideas, at that time you have to exchange your feelings as well as ideas, and it becomes imperative to come into existence for the others, why you are interacting with them and why it is important for that particular person. In this chapter we shall learn about the communication and also the difference between the routine communication and the communication or commercial communication. See, here the main concept is given in this chapter, that is of the difference between the commercial communication as well as the routine communication. See friends, routine communication means whatever you have done, or whatever ideas and whatever thoughts, whatever interaction you conducted with your friends as well as neighbors and as well as the family members, etc., that are known as the routine communication. But now the commercial communication means whichever and whatever things or whatever ideas, whatever interaction you conducted with some other business firm, that is known as the commercial communication. Commercial means whatever procedure of the communication is conducted for the purpose of the business area. That's why it is known as the commercial communication. We shall logically and chronologically understand the process of communication. See, here we will understand logically as well as chronologically. Chronologically means the some separate departments, some separate views are open for that particular word and for particular process. We shall also consider in detail different method of communication that we use, their characteristics and limitations. In this method we will also learn about their characteristics as well as the limitations. Now, in various fields for the process of the communication, different means of communication are employed. See, In each and every field the communication process has been conducted, but what are the means for that particular communication and what are the tools are employed in this communication are most important part. If we take the case of social, cultural, commercial and literary field, on element one element that draws the attention is that the activities undertaken for the different purpose are somewhat similar to the some extent different. See friend, the social, cultural, commercial as well as the literary field where you are going to study some topics, some chapters are most important part, and these all are undertaken for the different purposes and all have to work in similar way, either it is a some different way, some different extent. See, the main base of that particular portion is that of their requirement and what are their need is the most important part. So now we will learn about the most favorable and some extent level procedure while during this chapter. There are specific modes and styles for the different types of communication. See, there are so many types which are specifically mentioned for the different types of communication. Their skills and method differ from one another. See friend, all have different features and are connected with each other, and their barriers are also different. It becomes necessary to maintain this variety and punctuality, uh, peculiarity, and also to incorporate with conscious efforts. See friend, necessary maintain its variety. Variety in this field, you all are know that in the modern era you have to maintain the quality and variety as well as the peculiarities. Peculiarity means your punctualization and your efforts should be maintained to uh, communicate and to stay alive in the market. Thus, the process of involving particular styles, skills, and appropriate means and employed for exchange of information is known as the process of communication. See, friends, you have to underline these lines because it may ask in 1 mark question that what do you mean by the process of communication. That means the process of involving any particular part or any particular style, particular skill to each and every person to interact with their appropriate ideas, appropriate means. At that time, whatever procedure should be conducted is known as the process of communication, whereas the process is going to fluent and the work should be maintained. The word communication in the English is derived from the Latin word communicare, mean to share, to interact, to exchange, and to participate. Again, you have to underline that the word communication is derived from the Latin language. Latin language word communicare. Communicare meaning is to share, means to some exchange, some participate, to interaction are the basic meaning of the communicare. And from the communicare, the word communication has derived in the Latin language, from the Latin language. Now, what is the commercial communication? See, friend, what is the commercial communication? How it can be conducted? The process of communication undertaken for the commercial purpose is called commercial communication. See, friend, the process of communication is conducted for the commercial purpose. That means for any kind of business activity that is known as the commercial communication. The businessman has to remain in contact with two different groups. See, friend, businessman has to remain in touch with two groups. That is of first one is the manufacturer and the seller of the goods from one group, and their customer from the another group. See, two groups are mentioned. First one is the manufacturer and the second one is the seller are the first group, and next one is the customer is the another group. because if they are untouched with any kind of group at that time, they didn't get any particular information from this particular era. See, for as as far as your study and your situation is concerned, at that time you have to also uh, stay tuned for to the two groups. First one is the teacher, from where you get the whole information in case of you are absent. So first of all, you have to keep tune with the teacher. And second one group through which you have to keep in touch for your updation, that is of your friends. See, if you are unable to touch for or keep in touch for the friends as well as in teachers, at that time it is not good for your study as well as your future, because you are not able to get the whole information in case of your absenteeism. But while you are stay tuned stay tuned to any group, that is of teacher as well as friend, at that time you are able to get the whole information from the entire procedure. So you have to keep in touch for this type of groups. In order to remain in the constant contact, the latter turns out to be an important tool, both these groups acting as their representative or messenger with. See, if you have to stay tuned for this type of group, at that time the tools are most important part. And through messengers or any kind of any social media, you can keep in touch from this group. Thus the basic activities of the business like purchase, sales, advertising and marketing are carried out through letter. It is called the commercial communication. Again, this is the definition of commercial communication. Means whenever you have to write the letters for the purchase as well as selling, advertising, marketing, that is known as the commercial communication, through which you can stay tuned for the updation of the market. Now the process of communication. This question may ask in a 5-mark question, so you have to tick mark, and it is the most IMP question as well as your study is concerned. Information remains the common denominator factors whether we refer to communicate in the general or commercial communication. See, information is the most important part while you are doing business as well as the communication is to be concerned. So it is most important part that you have a sufficient data, that is of the information. Technically speaking, the agencies taking part in the process of the communication get involved harmoniously and exchange the information through the concept, emotions or message. See, technically speaking, means the agencies taking part or the process whatever should be conducted are harmoniously or the exchange of information. See, harmoniously means the whatever level and whatever the purpose through which you can conduct it to human, and for that you have to keep in touch as well as the use the so many groups as well as the information for the keep in touch and for the development of the particular concept, thoughts, emotions as well as the message, and through this you can stay tuned with the concerned parties. As part of the process of the communication, an individual or a group attempt to convey the information message to individual or to group where in different mediums and tools are used. See, if you have to keep in touch with the group as well as the individual, at that time you have a sufficient part of the data, that is of the information, and through which you can stay tuned for the updation of the market. And so many tools like messages, messenger, all the concepts are used for the stay tuned in the market. At the end of the process of the exchange of ideas, feedback is received from the others. See, after the completing the process, you will get the reply, as well as you can say in different and good manner. That is of the feedback is the most important part. If you don't able to get the feedback at that time, your process of the communication should not be completed, is considered as the incomplete. But after the getting the information, you will able to get the information, as well as if you get the reply at that time, it may concern that your the process of communication is completed. Let us now understand the whole procedure of the communication as it's the different stage. See, here is the some diagram are mentioned for your better understanding. See, first part of the process of communication is the speaker as well as the sender. See, speaker is the most important part while the conducting the process of communication, because without speaker it is not completed, or you can say it cannot be started without any speaker or sender. The second stage of the process of communication is of the encoding. Means you have to generate a particular message in a proper way of the meaning. That means you have to structure your sentence, your thoughts in form of the sentence. At that time, it is known as the encoding. Next one is the message. See, third step of the process of communication is the message. Whatever information you want to share, that is of the message. Next one is the channel or media. See friend, it is most important part of this process of communication. Without any kind of medium, you are not able to communicate with each other. See friends, if you are going to travel in a space, at that time you are not able to communicate with each other, because there is no air, and it is not possible to communicate while during the process. See, whatever I am speaking and whatever you are listening, between these two efforts, there is a channel or a specific medium. See, there are two channels at this time. First one is the mobile, as well as through which you can see the video, and next one is the air, through which from mobile my voice which are recorded in this video are able to listen, because the air is continuously flowing. That's why you are able to listen my voice. That is the channel or the medium, and it is most important part. If you are going to space, at that time, what however and how much strength you have, but you are unable to communicate through any particular system, without any particular system, because there is no space, so no air through, so you are unable to get the information or listen a single word. If you have a proper channel, proper presentation, as well as the some tools through which you are able to listen each and every one. Next one is the decoding. See, the message which you have received is the decode. Why? Because for the understanding of that particular message, it is necessary. Next one is the listener, as well as receiver. Another name is the receiver. See, speaker is the most important part while it is important to start the process, and for the ending of the process, or you can say the second party for the communication process is of the listener. Without listener is not able to start the process or generate the process. See, these all are 6 points are very necessary in the concept of the process of communication. Without any single step, you are unable to communicate, or you are unable to start the process of communication. And last one is the feedback. That is all After receiving the message, understanding the message, the necessity of the feedback is arised, where the feedback is again reached to the speaker. See, from where we have started, that is of the speaker, and from where we have ended, that is of the speaker. See friends, if you are going to start the process of communication, at that time the first important part is of the speaker, and without speaker it is not able to communicate, and without getting feedback you are unable to complete the procedure. Okay, now we will understand the whole procedure with explanation. The process of communication is successfully carried out through the following stage. First one is the speaker, sender or transmitter. The sender or speaker with the intention of the sending the information initiate the process of communication. See, from the speaker or sender with the intention of the sending information. If you want to send the information and your intention is there, at that time through the speaker the initiation of the process of communication has been done. The second one is the encoding. It is a process of undertaken by the speaker or sender. See, next one is the encoding. This process has been undertaken by the speaker. He arranges the concept idea using the appropriate language, diction, sound, medium, so that the receiver individual or group can sense the communication. See, speaker will arrange all the concept, all the idea through a specific language, dictation, sound, or any kind of medium. So the receiver is able to listen any the message which the speaker want to pass is. Next one is the message. The speaker sends the employing the various devices, tools, means, and the medium properly formulates the concept idea which is called the information. See, speaker employing the various devices, or you can say use the various devices, tools, as well as the mediums for the formation of the concept. That is known as the information or message. Next one is the channel. The device or tools such as language, picture, sound or letters should to transmit the information message are called the medium. See, if you want to use that particular message as a medium, at that time you have a necessity of the medium, because you want to pass a message. At that time you have a, it is necessary that you have a specific medium so that you can get the proper idea for that particular intention. The speaker selects the appropriate medium, keeping in mind the requirement and the situation. See, this is most important part. See, the listener have which kind of process or which kind of possession and which kind of situation is available. At that time, sender have to work as per the requirement and as per the situation of the receiver, and have to select the proper medium as well as channel. Next one is the listener. The person who receives the information sent by the speaker sender is called the listener or receiver. See, the message is encoded or received by any particular party is known as the receiver. The process of communication is undertaken keeping in mind the receiver. See, the process of whole communication is conducted keeping in mind the situation of the receiver. Without it, it is unable to initiate. Next one is the feedback. The process of communication thus the proceed the further and ends with the response from the receiver, which is called the feedback. See, the process of communication further proceed and the response, that means, is known as the feedback. Without feedback, the process of communication should not be considered as a complete. The feedback from the receiver is very important, as it is that determines the success of process. Through the feedback you can say that the process of the communication is completed or successful. Without any feedback, it is not considered as a complete as well as the success. If the sender is satisfied with the feedback from the receiver, the attempt is considered the fruit and the success, the process successful. See, if sender satisfied with the feedback, at that time the process of the communication should be considered as the successful process, fruitful process. If there is a partial understanding or lacking of the understanding, then it is result into complete failure of the communication. See, the sender is unable to get the feedback or partially understand the message. At that time, it is not considered as a successful, but it is considered as the complete failure or partial failure. In that case, the sender or speaker has to make the further attempt employing the different channel or medium. If you are unable to get the information, unable to get the proper feedback, at that time you have to make another effort to come initiate the process and with the different kind of channel as well as medium. It should be noted at this point that language, word, script, symbol, pictures are known as the channel, and the presentation through oral, written expressions or acting, these several means of communication are considered as a medium. See friend, that the language, words, scripts, pictures all are considered as the channel medium, and through this the oral, written as well as the expression are considered as the medium, and without this it is unable to communicate the process. The process of communication explained the below figure. See, you have understand that particular figure which at present you can see at your screen. So I hope you will understand the whole concept, and you have to see this video again and again, repeat these videos. That's why you will able to get the whole process and how it is considered as the important part for your study. As you can understand that at present the situation of this critical area, and through which we are unable to teach in a face to face manner. Here is also some channel is used. See, at present we have to study, we have to provide a teaching to you. At this time we are unable to teach you as a physical form, so we have to stay tuned with the um, process of the online video lecturing, so your study should not be spoiled. And if you have to learn at this time in this critical situation, at that time you have to compulsorily stay tuned from the links as well as the updation of the teachers, as well as stay tuned to the groups with the friends as well as teachers. So many students are so good, and all are good, but some are very regular students and some irregular. That is a very shameful. And if you have to stay tuned, you have to make a brighter career, at that time you have to compulsorily see these videos. Whatever teacher is providing as a part of the teaching, you have to grasp that particular data, so you will able to get your study as a continue. If you are unable to get this type of data, at that time you make some important part of your career, and this is not in a concept of a good manner. So we are requesting you to keep tuned for the your brighter study as well as for the brighter future, so that you will able to get tuned. See, the basic concepts, uh, within a 1 or 2 days we will upload the whole test timetable, and that time you will get the information that in a chapter we will ask 5 mark question as well as 1 mark questions while we are conducting a test. So keep in mind that without any explanation or without watching a video, you are unable to give a test. So I am again requesting you that you have to watch the whole video with very uh, concentratively, and if you have any doubt you can ask me, as you are able have a good concept as well as your good ideas. So again I requesting you, stay tuned and learn very well. Thank you so much.